This production is meant for educational purposes only and is a companion to the pamphlet Labor Dispute Picketing, Organizing a Legal Picket in Hawaii. To the extent workers have a legal right to strike, these works are designed to explain and illustrate the legal ways to exercise that right. It is not intended as a commentary or a position on any pending or future labor dispute. Likewise, any resemblance of the characters depicted here to real persons, living or dead, is purely coincidental. Hey Sandra, come on in, good to see you.
Hi Professor, how's the labor history classes?
Good, sit down.
Thanks.
So, I heard union leadership's chosen you as a picket captain for the upcoming strike.
Yeah, and they sent me straight to you for training. To tell you the truth, I'm a little worried about it.
Well, that's normal. But remember, you have a legal right to strike. As a picket captain, you're going to have a lot of responsibilities. It's a big job, but if you're patient, organized, and always use your best judgment, you'll be fine, Sandra.
I know I have a lot to learn.
Well, let's get right to it. The most important thing is that as a picket captain, you'll be in charge of all union activities at the picket line. There must always be one picket captain and one alternate captain at every gate where there is a picket line.
Gate?
In union terminology, all entrances and exits to the workplace are called gates. A picket line will be set up at every gate where striking workers may possibly enter or leave the workplace. You may not be able to picket at every gate. Sometimes employers set up a neutral gate that can only be used by non-striking employees, and that gate cannot be picketed. However, the union may post an observer at a neutral gate. If replacement workers go through the neutral gate, then the gate is considered tainted and a picket line may be set up there. But in order to prove a gate is tainted, you need to have names, dates, times, and if possible, pictures for evidence.
You mean scabs?
Yes. Scab is a term used in many countries to describe any worker who crosses the picket line to do the jobs of the workers on strike.
I see. So as a picket captain, what will I have to do?
You'll be responsible for creating and maintaining an effective picket line, for training, assigning, and guiding all pickets at the site. And you'll be serving as the official voice of the union in communicating with the police, the press, and the employer at the site. This booklet on labor dispute picketing should help. It's prepared by the Center for Labor Education and Research. It has almost all the information you need to know. Read it carefully and use it as a reference during the strike. And to help you get organized, it has a list of things you'll need to do before picketing begins.
Wow, thanks.
Let's go over it. You need to sign up pickets well in advance for each shift. Try to sign up more than you think you'll need. Make sure you have the names, phone numbers, cell phone numbers, email, and home addresses of all pickets and the times they've pledged to picket. You need to maintain a phone list of all pickets assigned to the site, as well as other important numbers, such as the union headquarters. It really helps to create a communication tree for rapid contacting of all pickets at the site. Work with the union leadership to determine how many shifts and how many pickets you will need for each shift, and then you can prepare a picketing schedule. Use a picket muster sheet to prepare the schedule. It's also a good idea to diagram the picket site in advance. Make sure you have enough signs for your picket line. Usually, picket signs are printed by the union or made under the supervision of union leadership. Only union-approved signs should be used. There must never be any indecent language, racial slurs, or threats of violence on a sign. If someone shows up with a sign that's inappropriate, you have to order them not to use it. Find a place for a base of operations near the picket gate. Ideally, it should be near toilets and have a storage area. Someone should always monitor the base. Before the strike, you have to call a meeting with the pickets who are assigned to your site. At the meeting, review and make everyone's duties and responsibilities clear. I can't tell you how important this meeting is to the success of your picket line. Make sure it's well organized. Here's an outline of the things you need to talk about.
Looks like I better get busy.
Yeah, I told you. It's a lot of responsibility.
Thank you so much for helping me along.
That's why I'm here. Now, after you have your meeting, come back. There's a few more things you need to know before the strike starts.
Aloha, everyone, and thank you for being on time for our meeting. My name is Sandra, and I'll be your picket captain. The first thing I need to do is to make sure you all understand that I am in charge at the picket line, and I will need everyone to follow my instructions and directions in order to make our strike successful. When we're on the picket line, we're all representatives of our union, and we need all of you to make this work. You all need to understand that the reputation and potential liability of our union are at stake. So it's very important that I have your full cooperation. It will be my job to tell anyone who places the union or its reputation in jeopardy to leave. Having said that, let's move on to the nuts and bolts of our job. First of all, everyone needs to clear out any personal belongings you might need from our workplace before the picket line is up, because once the line is up, it must not be crossed for any reason. This is a copy of our picket schedule. Make sure you understand where you're supposed to be and when you're supposed to be there. If you have any conflicts, see me after this meeting. When you come to the picket line, sign in. If you have to leave for any reason, sign out. Make sure you dress comfortably, simply, and neatly. Wear comfortable shoes, not slippers. The press may be there, and we want to look respectable, but not overdone. Remember to bring rain gear, sun hats, and sunscreen. When we're on the line, we're in the public eye, and our behavior is important. We should always remain serious. Be determined and show your solidarity. No joking around, no lewd or obscene language, and definitely no threats. Even the appearance of violence, unlawful behavior, and dangerous weapons can get the union in trouble and will not be tolerated. Absolutely no alcohol on the picket line, and any pickets who look like they have been drinking will be asked to leave. Remember, you cannot park in the employer's lot anymore. We want everyone to carpool. Our picket transportation coordinator is Tom, and he'll be arranging the carpools. Drivers, please make sure you park legally and don't cross any of our own lines. I can't do this alone. I'm going to need your help. Besides the transportation coordinator, I'm also delegating the following jobs. Robert will be the refreshment chair. Please lend a hand if he needs help. Vicky, I want you to be the observer recorder and take care of the sign-in and sign-out records. You can also document anything unusual on the picket line in the daily strike report. Charla, you will watch the neutral gate and observe and record any scabs that use that entrance. Bill, you will be in charge of the picket signs. You need to make sure that everyone has a sign, and you need to be ready to fix any signs that get damaged. Gary is in charge of morale, and he will lead songs, chants, and cheers. Janice will be the communications person who maintains phone numbers and organizes and activates our phone tree. Cell phone numbers, if you have them, are best. And Chris, you will be our scab counter and help Vicky with recording. The two of you will file the picket line daily report, and everyone must sign in and out with Chris or Vicky on the picket duty sign-in sheet. Is that clear? Question. Scabs. What do you do if scabs try to cross the picket line? Okay. The first thing I want you to remember is that there can be no violence, or no threat of violence from anyone on the picket line. This is really important, and we have to obey this rule no matter how angry we feel. Now, unions have been dealing with strikes and scabs for decades, and over the years, they've developed an effective strategy. Here's what we're going to do. First, we're going to make it really uncomfortable for scabs to cross our picket line. And second, every day we're going to try to change their minds and get them to join us on strike. They'll be forced to cross our line, and when that happens, we'll make sure that we picket in front of them so that they see every one of our faces and read our signs. We aren't going to threaten or frighten them. That just makes scabs feel self-righteous. The most effective thing is to make them feel guilty. Making a scab feel guilty and ashamed is the most likely way to win them over.
No scab!
I've made this diagram here that shows our picket site, how we will be walking, and where I will be stationed. Everyone needs to carry a sign whenever you are on the line, and only union-approved signs can be used. Let's practice a few times walking on the line. I marked out this space that will be about the same as the entrance at our picket site. I'm going to be stationed here. If pedestrians or a vehicle wants to enter, we're generally allowed to make 1 or 2 full circuits before we have to open the line. Watch for my signal to open the line. As a rule, we're allowed to reset the line after every vehicle or group of pedestrians passes, but we also have to watch the traffic. It's my job to deal with the police officer in charge, and I will try to work out a reasonable routine. And remember, always behave respectfully to the police officers, follow their instructions, and never argue with them. One last thing. Reporters will probably show up off and on during the strike. Don't talk to them. As the picket captain, I am the only one who speaks to the press. Do not get drawn into any discussions with them. Reporters may try to get you to answer their questions. If that happens, refer them to me. If anyone not part of the picket line starts asking questions, tell them to talk to me. Thank you for coming to the meeting, and if there are any more questions, I'll be available here for a while to answer them. Otherwise, I'll see you tomorrow morning at 6 a.m. on the picket line, unless there's a settlement tonight.
So Sandra, I heard your meeting went very well.
Yeah, it was great, but I couldn't have done it without this booklet and your outline. I can't believe tomorrow is the big day.
You've done a really good job of organizing things in advance, so the first day of picketing should go really well. There's just a few other things that may come up that you'll have to handle. The employers may try to provoke or threaten you or your pickets. Don't respond and instruct your pickets not to respond. Report any incidents of threats or provocation to union headquarters and the police officer on duty. If the employer photographs or films the pickets, make sure it's recorded in the daily strike report. Include all those involved as well as the date, time, and place. Ask the officer in charge to record it in their log also. You'll be responsible for interacting with the police. Introduce and identify yourself as a picket captain to the police whenever they show up. You or your observer recorder must document the names, badge numbers, and the arrival and departure times of all police officers on the daily strike report. And remember, security guards of employers are not police officers.
What if the police officer isn't fair? What if he orders us to open up the line too often?
If you feel that the police officer in charge is ordering the line open without giving the pickets a fair circuit, report it to union headquarters along with the officer's name and badge number, and be sure the incident is recorded on the daily strike report and on an incident report form. Always be friendly, respectful, and courteous to the police. Never defy a direct police order and don't argue with them.
Even if I'm sure they're wrong?
If you feel strongly that they're wrong, tell them in a courteous way and make a report to the union office as soon as possible. There's no point in arguing with the police unless you want to get arrested. Serious disputes have to be handled by union lawyers. You're the only one at the picket site that should talk to reporters. Make this clear to all of your pickets. I see your union has prepared a short statement about the strike. You should be ready to deliver it in a confident manner. Don't improvise because the employer's attorneys will be watching like hawks to catch you saying anything that may be wrong. Why don't you try delivering the statement now?
Okay, here goes. We are on strike for very good reasons. Reasons that are crucial to the welfare of our livelihood and our families that we work so hard to provide for. We believe that safe working conditions, adequate health care, and fair wages are things all employees should receive. None of us want to be on strike, but we want everyone to know that we are serious about these issues and we stand firmly behind our union and our negotiators.
Hey, that was perfect. Always be courteous, firm, short, and simple about the main issues of the strike. Only answer basic questions and refer all others to your union leadership. Don't ever discuss internal union issues and watch out for aggressive reporters. You're going to have to try to keep up the morale of your pickets. In the beginning of a strike, your pickets will probably be in high spirits and a little relieved after the tension before the walkout. You might have to remind them that the strike is serious and discourage clowning and too much joking, especially if there are reporters or film crews. Believe me, the atmosphere will change after the first payday with no check. Things can get tense and feel more militant. At this point, you'll probably have to cool tempers and make sure your pickets maintain lawful conduct. You'll have to be supportive and encouraging about the outcome of the strike. The best strategy is make sure everyone has a picket line job. That's why the assignments you made at the meeting are so important. You might need to switch pickets from the line to other tasks if they get stressed out or have trouble managing their anger. As you can see, your job as picket captain is important, and at times it may be difficult. Use the booklet from the Center for Labor Education and Research as your guide. Always remember, you're being called on to serve your union with all of your integrity and to the very best of your abilities. And when things get tough, remember the solidarity of all those people who came before you. They fought with real courage and determination for the right to form and join a union and the right to strike. In that same tradition, the success of your strike will enrich the lives of all your fellow workers and the families that they labor to support.